I've been alive for 16 years. Therefore, I have had 16 years of practice to get even kind of good socially, and guess what? I'm still not even quite there. There are a lot of unknowns about social situations, which can make them super tough, and no two situations are the same, even if they're similar, even if there is a similar pattern of events, it's never the same, and you can never handle it the same because everyone is different. Something about humans is that no two humans are also the same, which makes it so difficult dealing with people, and everyone is unpredictable. Even the most seemingly predictable people you think you know like the back of your hand, they are unpredictable. So like in psychology, I just started school like 2 3 weeks ago, I think. So there's going to be a couple school references in this one just because that's what's going on. So I'm in an AP psychology class, and we talked about how experimenting about human things and mental things is so different than any other science. Like, take chemistry, for example. You combine like 2 3 chemicals, and they will always have the same reaction together because it's those 3 chemicals always will do the same thing. But like, if you take one person and their behaviors aren't going to be the same every single time, or like, yeah, if you take like a larger sample of people, there is, so okay, wait, here, so you could be in like 4 different situations, right? And you could handle them in the literal exact same way, like everything verbatim except for the rest of the situation, like the other people in it, and you could get 4 completely different responses and results. Like, it's kind of nuts. Nothing is consistent, nothing is constant, nothing is predictable, and it can be extremely difficult. And that just makes social situations super hard to figure out. But I mean, I guess I'm in enough social situations on a daily basis that I'm like unofficially certified to give advice and speak about it. So here we go. I went to Reddit the other day. Remember the place where all the insane people go? How how fitting for me, am I right? But like, so I went to Reddit the other day and I found a bunch of things on some of the subreddits, like r/social skills, r/does anybody else, r/advice, like different like advice forums and stuff, and just found these people asking questions, giving situations, and I thought, let's pick a few out and talk about them. So, here we go. Okay, so this first post says, all right, I've been interrupted throughout my childhood and my adulthood. Now I feel like I don't know how to interact with others. I now only speak when I'm addressed, which is rare, and I have other people make decisions for me because I fear my input will be invalidated and ignored. I need help. I no longer trust myself to contribute to any conversation, and now I completely contribute. It's contribute. It's okay. I no longer trust myself to contribute to any conversation, and now I am completely shut down. If I ever feel the urge to contribute, I sputter part of a word and I'm automatically interrupted. It's like they know I'll say something dumb, so they shut me down before I get a chance to speak. I feel ashamed and I feel like something is wrong with me. Okay, so first off, I have experienced similar things before. I am the youngest of 5, so I often, when I'm in a situation with my siblings, I often feel very youngest sibling in the way that I like capital Y, capital S, that I can't contribute much to conversations with my older siblings, and when I do, it's like completely off topic. So like, here's me. I'm wanting to go into like the music field, so whether that's education, performance technology, business, general, like what, I don't really know. It's gonna be one of those, but I'm going to be a music major. And then there's all of my siblings, like they're all like engineers and chemists and like in the medical field, like doctors, nurses, physical therapists, and I'm just like, I want to go I want to go listen to music for a living. It's it's really funny. So I don't know. I just sometimes can find it a little bit hard to relate to them. And yeah, the interrupting thing is just it's constant. When we have like our family parties, there's like 30 40 people here, and it's just like I cannot get a word in edgewise. But something that's kind of helped me with that is like just trying to finish my sentence every time. Like, you start talking, and even if you don't think anyone's listening or like paying attention, or even if you get interrupted, like I just push through and just kind of finish whatever I was saying. I know that kind of seems like, well, Hannah, now you're just interrupting the person who interrupted you. We're not about the technicalities here. I, I just want to finish my sentence. It kind of helps you like gain confidence, I guess. And if you kind of push that boundary like just a little bit, not enough to be rude, but just a little bit to get it, it'll kind of help people realize like, oh, you're talking. I should probably wait until you're done, you know, like until they keep talking. So, I mean, that's really good advice for, well, really good advice. I'm just patting myself on the back here. No, but I feel like that's a good strategy that I use and that I think could really help for situations like that. Alrighty, so there's that one. Okay, so we got another one here. All right, wonderful. It says, I really dislike lying. First of all, good on you. A lot of people love lying, so like that's very refreshing and nice to hear. So, it says, I really dislike lying. I still do it for the sake of politeness because I know that's just part of life. And when a stranger casually asks, how are you? I don't mind saying good or fine, even if that's false. However, when people I care about ask me that question casually, I really don't like lying by saying fine or okay, especially when they know that's not true. But the question is still a common social question and not actually a question about well being, and I don't want to respond by saying terrible or the equivalent. Is there any good phrasing to respond to how are you without lying? So this is actually really funny because this exact topic, like literally almost word for word, was brought up exactly the other day in my AP English Literature and Composition class. So essentially, all right, here's the thing. Going back to school, my school decided to do a hybrid learning kind of learning model and I don't approach. I don't really know what you would call it, but so essentially, I'm going in 3 days a week, so Mondays, Wednesdays, and alternating Fridays, and then all of the other days are my off-site days. Which reminds me, I have to go do my attendance here really quick for today. Gotta click that button right there. Okay, cool. All right, wonderful. So, so we have to do like stuff on our offsite days, and then when we go in, it's essentially normal school, but like we're wearing masks and we clean the desks and the chairs, and we are 6 feet away from other people, and like it's kind of weird. And all of us are really just we're itching to get back to normal. We really, really are. So, this was like I think my second day in school. So, like it was the sorry, my days get so mixed up because it was the second day, which was a Wednesday, even though I had done school on the Tuesday, but my first day was the Monday, but this was my second day actually in class. Hope that didn't confuse me because it definitely confused me. But so I walked into my AP Lit class. My teacher, oh bless her soul, she's so wonderful. I love her so much, but she just asked like, "How are you doing today?" And I said, "I don't know anymore." Any normal person would have been like, I'm doing okay, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. That's usually my favorite response, or it'll be like, I'm alive, or my favorite one is your guess is as good as mine. Like I'm not really sure. You're not really sure. It could be anything at this point. This is a fun little mystery here, isn't it? But so okay, but then my teacher she was funny. She was just like, okay, well, scratch the lecture. Like we're talking about this. She's a very like philosophical person, so she gave a really good insight and philosophy about it. And she said that like, if you say something like more on the neutral plane, like if you're not feeling awesome, but you don't like super want to go into it, like that works out perfectly. It's completely fine to say like, I'm not really sure, or I don't really know, or I'm I'm just alive or working through it, or, just like something on the neutral plane, I think is a really, 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 really good response for something like that. And it's also kind of funny because, like, oh, I'm not a normal person that just says, I'm okay, or I'm fine, or I'm doing well. How about you? It's just like, dude, I literally have no idea how I'm doing. Okay, that was a good one. I liked that. Okay, that was a really. It's interesting. I like that people are asking advice about that though, because you like don't want to lie about it, but then when you say something kind of in the gray area, you're not lying. You're not lying, which is super cool. So yay! All right, moving right along. What should I do if I'm the only person that ever makes an effort in friendships? Okay, If I don't reach out, nobody else does. I live alone at school this year, and my friends last year don't even make an effort to simply have a conversation. Man, I have felt like this countless times. Oh my gosh. When you're the only one who ever starts a conversation and they're always the one to end it, like you text them like, "Hey, how's it going?" and then you talk for like maybe 5 minutes and they're like, "I have to go to bed," but then you look at the clock and it's like 6:30 and you're like, "What?" It's just it's really really weird when it goes that way. It's really really weird. And here's what I got to say to that. This is kind of a hot take. I don't really know if anyone will be happy hearing this. I don't really think anyone wants to hear this necessarily, but my honest opinion, honestly, friendship is a two-way street. If your friendship is feeling one-sided and you're feeling like you're the only one who cares about it and is actually putting an effort to maintain it, it is probably not a relationship that's even worth maintaining. Because if you're giving 112% and they're giving like 4% 2 times a week, that's not gonna cut it. I'm sorry, man. Like that's just not a person worth having around. Now, if you're close with this person and they're just kind of in a phase of being distant or withdrawing though, don't be afraid to open up an honest conversation and see where they're at and then just kind of assess the situation from there and how you'll carry forward. So if you have known this person for forever and they never act like this, don't be afraid to call them or meet them in person. Don't do this over text. Call them, meet them in person, and just be like, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, you're kind of withdrawing. I really miss talking to you. I really feel like things are kind of one-sided, and I just want to check in and make sure you're okay." And if they're like, "Yeah, man, thanks for checking in. I'm just kind of going through it right now. I thank you for your support and everything like that." Cool, good, nice job. Like that was awesome. But then if they're like, "Yeah, I just like don't really I don't really have time to like be friends with you," then you'll be like, "Huh, okay." So and then you just then it's just nicer to know that it's not something that you have to worry about putting effort into. Because yeah, if someone okay, but just moral of the story, if someone is not giving the same energy you're giving, or like, and I know everyone has off days, I know that I have off days too. There's some days where I just can't give the same energy as I always do, and that's okay. That is, we're human, it's perfectly normal. But if someone is consistently doing that, that is not a healthy friendship to stay in. So don't don't mess with that. Okay, so and this definitely kind of goes along with the next post. It's not like asking for advice, it's giving advice. And it says, "Be honest with friends, especially if they are doing something wrong which is making you hurt. If you wish to stay as friends, this could save your friendship. A good friend should understand, apologize, and change. Honesty and communication are so important. They're so important in friendships and relationships. I'll touch on the relationship end of it more in the relationship episodes that I have planned, but for friendships, it is so important. Like, I would much rather get a text from someone saying, "Hey, I'm super busy today. I really want to talk to you, but I'm not sure where I'll have time in my day. I'll text you where I can. I hope you have a good day. Hopefully we can call or something later this week to catch up." If I would rather get a text like that than just being ghosted for like a week. I would much rather have the honesty than someone, and I know some people would make the argument of like, "Oh, well, that's a little bit too harsh and honest." Like, that's not, like, no one wants to hear that. It's like, I would much rather hear that than hear nothing. Like, oh my goodness, man, so just be honest and be open, and don't be afraid to tell people how you're feeling and what's going on, because that's so important. Okay. All right. That was a long-winded rant, so sorry. Alrighty. So, here is the next post. "My friends have a group chat dedicated to things they don't want to say around me." All right. First off, those are not real friends. They're not. Okay, whatever. Continuing with the post. "My friends think I'm too sensitive and made a group chat excluding me. They still use the one I'm in too, but now I feel like I don't belong. I need advice on whether to stay in the chat and preserve my weakened friendships, or if I should leave the chat and preserve my already fragile mental health." Listen, this is not even a decision. Mental health all the way. If it's already fragile, you need to take the time. And okay, so something that my therapist actually told me, like the advice she gave me, was it's okay to be selfish sometimes. I was in a point where I was like so concerned about other people and just constantly pouring out to other people that I never had anything left for myself. And it was just, you gotta take a break. You gotta take time for yourself. You gotta prioritize your mental health because it's so important. And if you're not doing that, then you can't care for others. If you're not caring for yourself, you're not gonna be able to care for others properly. So that's kind of the mindset I've taken in, is I need to care for myself so that I can care for other people. So that's just mental health all the way. And those people really aren't real friends. If they're doing that to you, that is not cool. As unfortunate as it is, I have been in actually a couple situations much like this. Back when I was in third or fourth grade, so we're talking the ripe young age of 8 or 9. My older brother's friends made a group chat dedicated to sending pictures of like lemurs and weird animals and other things, and calling them like, oh look, this is a selfie Hannah took, and like it was literally awful. Like the day I found it and read it, I was like that's, oh, like, a lot of my appearance related insecurities like came from that situation. So people who do this sort of thing are not real friends. And just a disclaimer, like, my brother doesn't talk to those people anymore. Don't worry about that. But like, it's just, wow. I mean, it was not good, and it affects people. You don't think it's affecting people because, like, oh, they're not in the group chat. They're not gonna see. They're not gonna be affected. Yes, they are. They are definitely going to be affected. They're going to find out about it somehow. Like, it's never a good thing. Another time was when I was in 7th grade. I got mixed up in this big group of like both girls and guys who were like the popular kids, like I'm doing air quotes right now. I know you can't see me, but air quotes popular kids. And I was so excited to be a part of something like that because middle school was so difficult for me. I went into middle school with like 2 friends, maybe, and it was so difficult for me to connect socially. So I was so excited to be a part of something, and we had this big group chat, and we made a plan to go hang out downtown one day in the summer. And apparently then one of the guys made a group chat, it was one of the guys in the group made a different group chat without me in it and told everyone else, yo, I don't want Hannah there. She's weird and I don't like her. And it's like, so, but let me tell you what these people did. They ended up so don't get too confused by this, okay? But they ended up then making a different group chat without him. So here we have 3 group chats. Everyone, the one without me, and then the one without him. But the one without him still had me in it, right? And so they told me everything he said, and they were like, we like you. You're coming no matter what. Whether he wants you there or not, we're just gonna have a fun time. So then they went back to the one that didn't have me in it, and they said, like, they told him that. Essentially, they relayed that information to him, and he was like, okay, then I'm not coming. And they said, good riddance. Wow, I literally don't talk to any of those people anymore. I haven't thought about this situation, like, literally until today, like, thinking about this, but they were kind of G's in that moment, not gonna lie. It was pretty cool of them, honestly. But yeah. All right, so next one we've got here. A great way to start a conversation with a stranger is a compliment. If you're trying to meet new people, start with a good impression. Saying they have a nice dress or a nice jacket or that you love their hair and asking about it is an easy way to make a connection. If they don't want to talk, they won't be offended or weirded out by a stranger walking up to them. It may even make their day. I know compliments mean a lot to me. This is so important. I use this at work a lot. I work in like a combination retail food kind of place, and man, dealing with people, like, you have to be able to adapt to situations on the spot. It's been difficult, but so, okay, my company we are almost entirely based on making singular connections with everyone who comes in. We actually have a policy where we call them guests and not customers, because we are expected to treat them as guests in our own home. So like when they cross the threshold into the store, that is like they are coming into our home. We have to be warm and welcoming, and it's really cool, honestly. But so there was this one lady who came in recently, and she had a super cool mask on, and it had like a collage of playbills on it from a bunch of different musical, like there was Hamilton, Heathers, Kinky Boots, Miss Saigon, Come From Away, and like a whole bunch of other ones. Legally Blonde, I think, was on there too. Man, it was so cool, and I told her that I loved her mask and that I was a musical nerd too, and I asked her, have you seen Hamilton? And she goes, oh my gosh, I've seen it 7 times. First of all, 7 times. You did not hear that incorrectly. I'm still in disbelief to this day, but this lady had seen Hamilton 7 times in person. I saw it once in person. How I I, I don't have any words for that. It was crazy. So we started talking about Hamilton and all of our favorite places there, and like, or well, not places, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying, but all of our favorite like scenes, songs, characters, things like that. We started talking about all of these different musicals. I started telling her about all the 30 musicals that I've been in and all of the different roles I've had, and she was telling me about her season tickets and how she goes. We had like a 10 to 15 minute conversation about musicals before she even got to placing her order. It was awesome. Ever since then, she's actually come in a couple more times and said hi. So, I mean, the compliment thing definitely works. Try it out, use it. It's fantastic. And like at the end of this post when it says compliments mean a lot to me, yeah, that's the random person like saying that, but I 100% agree wholeheartedly. Compliments, even if someone tells me that like they like my hair or something, I will literally think about that for the rest of the day. No matter if it's a stranger or it's someone I know, like compliments stick with you. So compliments are so important. There's a lot of like psychology again, but repetition is a huge thing. So like when your external dialogues, so what people are saying to you, can very easily and quickly become your internal dialogues and what you're repeating in your head, and then that's like mantras and things that we keep in our head, and like personal values and morals and stuff. Like that's how that all like happens and is wired. So if people are giving compliments consistently, and like that will change someone's mindset completely. It can change someone's mindset to be positive, and man, you can make someone's day in like the easiest ways possible. Small acts of kindness, compliments, just anything. It's so important that we just keep supporting each other, because everything is so difficult and there's so much hate dividing the world. But if we just look to the simple things, guys, it's so easy. It's so easy to be kind. I don't know. Wow. I really think we just need to think more about like just reaching out to other people, and even if it's just a small connection that you have for just that moment, it's a connection nonetheless, and it's just an outstretched hand, and it's so important to our humanity. All right, so last one. This is probably common with a lot of women, but I noticed that despite having a naturally deeper voice, I always speak in a notably higher pitch when I first meet people. My family even comments on my sudden change of voice and demeanor when giving my order at a restaurant or talking to anyone new. I just become this ultra nice robot because subconsciously I assume my natural voice is less welcoming or palatable. Hold on. Let's look up this word. I can't type. Palatable. 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 Oh, thank you, Google. That was wonderful. Palatable. It means adjective of food or drink, pleasant to taste, of an action or proposal, acceptable or satisfactory. You learn something new every day. Is less welcoming or palatable. Awesome. This always makes me feel inauthentic in my interactions. Now I take a note to start with my natural voice right off the bat, and it becomes so much easier to be myself when trying to make new friends because it seems to trick my brain into feeling familiar and comfortable with that person. So, boy, do I relate to this one. When I was younger, I subconsciously used different voices, like there was one for around my friends, there was one for around my siblings, there was one for around my parents, etc., 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 and it was super, like, unhealthy. It was, it was like one identity crisis after the other, like, after a while, because I was just being so ingenuine and not really in touch with myself, and I've grown out of it now, but that's a completely normal problem, and it's just practice. It's just, you have to make like a conscious, mental, like awake and alert effort to speak with your natural voice for a while, and then like after a while you can calm that effort down, and then it just becomes natural. It's like with anything. Like you could like when you're learning an instrument, like when you're playing a song or something, or like trying to memorize something, it's tough at first and you have to like consciously work at it, but after a while you can like play it in your sleep. So yeah, so, and I think girls with lower voices are completely normal. I don't think that's just a fact. And like, that's chill. I honestly think it's kind of cool. I mean, granted, mine isn't like that low, but yeah, still. So, I mean, all in all, biggest takeaway from all of this, that was the last post, by the way. Everyone is different, and social situations like these ones can be super murky a lot of the time, and a lot of it is for for lack of a better term, situational. Don't define the thing with the thing. Don't define social situations as situational. But so and I think the most important thing is experience. Experience is really, really important. We can learn from awkwardness and weird situations, and it's just the mindset of keeping an open mind to change and improvement and learning with every single day and every single person we talk to and every social situation that we do find ourselves in. And it's a super cool perspective when you put it that way, to think that every time we're in a social situation, it provides us with a unique opportunity to improve a skill or learn something new every single time. When you think about like this conversation with this random stranger at work, or this person at school, or my teacher or my friend, is an opportunity for me to improve upon myself and learn something new about myself and other people, that's crazy. If you think like that, that's incredible. So just try to keep that perspective. And just keeping this in mind makes mistakes seem a lot more commonplace, and you go easier on yourself, and then you're open to learning and growing. So I think that's super important. So yeah, I think that about does it. Third episode is going to be about how COVID and other recent events took a toll on productivity, with some references to some cool videos and information I found, not on Reddit, just some other stuff. Yeah, this was a super fun thing to talk about. I had so much fun recording this. I hope you have fun listening to it, and I hope you all are doing well. Don't forget to email the podcast with things you want me to talk about. That's hardtobehumanpodcast@gmail.com. So it's the word hard, the number 2, the letter B, and then the word human, and the word podcast @gmail.com. And yeah, see y'all next time.